How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me is Leonard. This is a show about wrestling, and this is our second installment of our random match reviews, as it's tentatively called anyway. And basically, one of us has sent the other a random match to view, and then we share our thoughts here for you all, and maybe invite you to go check out the match and let us know what you thought about it. And last week, we had Leonard share his match. This week, it was my turn. And the match I chose was from May 25th, 2000. It is from the Brian Pillman Memorial Show. And it is between William Regal and Chris Benoit. Now, the reason I chose this match was because I recently listened to the debut episode of the Gentleman Villain podcast, which is William Regal, and it's hosted by Matt Kuhn of the Conrad Thompson network of podcasts there. And he talked about the Man's character, and this match occurred during a period where Regal was on and off his substance abuse issues, and he had been rehired to WWE, but was working in the Memphis area. He hadn't been put back on the main roster yet. And I guess the myth is that this match got him rehired to WWE, but actually that wasn't the case. He was already hired. He was just not moved up to TV yet. And the commentary here is, interestingly, between Michael Cole and Dr. Tom Pritchard. And I will not give my thoughts yet, Leonard, but because this was your first time watching it.
Yeah, had not seen it, wasn't aware of it. And I must say I really liked the commentary, because it wasn't so much them, because they were definitely calling it from the future. Yes. You know, it wasn't there. The context I got from references made was this was right around the time that Benoit had won the world title in the WWF, and they were kind of looking back at, so this might have been part of a Benoit retrospective from the period, I don't know.
Yeah, and you know what I'm thinking about? This might be on the now very elusive Hard Knocks Chris Benoit DVD set that you can find out there on eBay.
Yeah.
But at the time, that set was a big deal because it had a lot of these really rare, cool matches of his. And as the memory is starting to go off now, that match might be on there, which is why you have these commentators. But anyway.
Yeah, and I like how Cole is asking Tom Pritchard a lot of questions to explain, why they're doing what they're doing, why this is such a good match. And I thought it was very interesting that this is a match that Tom Pritchard shows his students,
right.
Pritchard has a wrestling school, and why he shows it to them. And I thought it was very interesting how he says that within the first 4 minutes, you can hear people chant boring,
Yep.
and they get into it, and they're totally into it. And this is only like about 12-minute match? 12?
Yeah, roughly. And just the way that it builds. They start out steadily, but then it just keeps building, and they just keep building that pace little by little. To the point where the crowd is like really, really into it by the end.
Yeah, and it's a lot of back and forth, very even, very trading off. It's not a traditional match where, the face starts off, controls the first 2-3 minutes, the heels controls for the next portion. It's just one guy hitting a move, the next guy countering that move, going back and forth on each other. There's a spot where they're locked up and Benoit starts throwing headbutts, which I don't think I've ever seen headbutts out of a lockup.
Oh yeah.
And winds up busting Regal open, so he's bleeding. Yeah. Regal does a Indian death block into a dragon sleeper at one point, which I'm surprised no one does that. Yeah. That would be an amazing finisher for somebody. I may actually steal that for one of my wrestling wrestling fantasy feds. That was a great match. The end was really well done, very, very fantastic. I like too how you had Pritchard mentions this, they're not playing to the crowd a lot. The only, I think, recognition of the crowd is when Benoit does his usual, the old Arn Anderson slit the throat move. And again, too, it's not a lot of, I would say, the quote unquote signature moves of these guys. Benoit works in the German suplex, but it's very much of the match, the flow, the pace. It's just not Chris Benoit does a German suplex and I do it now type of thing. And flying headbutt, same thing. He misses it the first time, hits it the second. A very good for a match under 15 minutes. This is probably one of the best matches you'll ever see from a technical standpoint.
And that's why I'm glad we picked the matches we did, which were both fairly short. Yours was shorter than mine, obviously, but the fact that these matches are not very long, but also are able to tell a story and be really fun to watch. And, obviously, despite what we think about Chris Benoit these days, this was back at a time when he was obviously very good in the ring. And I also think that just William Regal is just so, to me, still underrated. Like, he has had many, many good matches throughout the hills and valleys of his personal life. But these guys worked really well together. And it's certainly worth checking out if you haven't seen it. If you don't have the Chris Benoit box set, you can find it on YouTube and Dailymotion, I believe. So I definitely recommend going to check it out and letting us know what you think about it.
Oh, one thing I don't think we mentioned, it was part of the Brian Pillman tribute show.
I mentioned that at the top, but yes.
Okay, I might have missed that. I know you mentioned the year, but I might miss it. You mentioned it was part of the tribute show, and it was from Cincinnati or just outside Cincinnati, I bet.
Okay, yeah, and
they mentioned the name of the field house, which escapes me now, but I believe it's from the Cincinnati area.
Okay, yeah,
which is where Pillman was from.
Exactly, and he was a Bengal as well.
Yes, he played for the Cincinnati Bengals.
And I don't know what other matches were on this card. I'm curious, but
and I know they did a Pillman show a couple years in a row.
This was not the first one, I don't think.
No, I believe this was the second one, and there might have been one or two more after that.
Yeah. All right. Well, like I said, go check it out. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we'd love to hear from you. Check out our full-length episodes as well, and you can find us also on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify if you want to listen to us. For Leonard, my name is Chad, and we will see you next time.